Number 2 on the 3 keys for Ohio State to beat Tennessee in the college football playoff. Attack the middle of the field on offense. So take us through that.
Well, you're going to see right here. So you're going to see this is seam route by Georgia here, and you're going to see this seam route when it opens. You're going to see the middle of the field right there. And what ends up happening is that when you are trying to stop the run, sometimes you get two safeties. You can see they have two safeties there. By having two safeties, the middle of the field. Now, there's two different areas of the middle of the field I believe they can attack. They can attack off play action. The Tennessee Volunteer linebackers are very aggressive. So if they see run, they're going to step up. Their safeties also play very deep. So not only can you get the ball between them vertically deep, like right there, but you can also throw it over top of the linebackers and in front of the safeties with those layered routes that Chip Kelly likes to run. So I think, obviously, first thing they got to do is they got to stop Sampson. And then in the pass game, they got to get those 3 really good NFL receivers, especially Jeremiah Smith. They got to get him in the slot. They got to get him on that second level, and they got to get him in the middle of the field. That's where they'll have their most success. That's where Tennessee struggles the most. If you can see that linebacker trying to cover, that's what ends up happening in cover 2. That linebacker has to get vertical. It's just a mismatch against Ohio State. Again, Ohio State has to run the ball to keep things honest, but they have to throw the ball to win.
Let me ask you this. It just in talking about how good that front 7 is, do you do tunnel screens and little screens to try to get the ball on the perimeter quickly? I'm with you. That I thought against Michigan they needed to get the ball in the hands of their playmakers a little bit more. And I know they like Judkins and I know they like Henderson, but get the wide receivers out in space. If they want to play in a phone booth, take it outside.
Well, it's interesting. So we used to say like outside the phone booth. So Tennessee, they're very good inside the phone booth in terms. They got three of the 4 guys up front that they usually. It's an odd front, but they'll usually have 4 guys on the line of scrimmage in different fronts. But the 3 guys who are not James Pierce are seniors. They're all 300 pounds, which means they're grown men. They're 23 years old, just like the offensive line. They have 4 seniors that are 23 years old. So I think that's why I think the vertical game is going to be really good. That second level of Tennessee runs very well. And when those veteran guys see those tunnel screens are led by the offensive line getting out quickly. I think Tennessee can run those down. They run very well at the second level. Where I think I struggle, like I said, is that over the top of them in that middle of the field. They're not a super heavy pressure team. They got a chip on. They create pressure, but not a ton of blitzes. So that second level will be able to run some screens. I think, like I said, play action, middle of the field, and rip it down that seam between those 2 safeties, I think will be their best bet in the passing game.
All right, so the third key of the 3 keys for Ohio State to defeat Tennessee, create a plan for James Pierce. Take us through this one.
Well, this guy is a prototypical SEC lineman, 6'5", he's 243 pounds. He's an absolute relentless. So he'll be down in a 3-point stance here if they're in a forefront. He'll also be in an up stance right here like he is in an odd front. They'll use him a bunch of different ways. So once again, it's really just a multiple front. They're on paper, they're an odd front, which means there's 3 down linemen, but they run a bunch of different stuff. But what they're trying to do is they're going to create ways to get James Pierce either on a tackle one-on-one or a back one-on-one. Now, what the Buckeyes got to do is that Pierce is only 240 pounds, so they got to use Fryer. They got to use those big tackles, 300-plus tackles, and run directly at him. That's the first thing they got to do. If passing the ball, they got to chip on him either with a tight end or a back. And then most importantly, get the ball out of Will Howard's hand and get it in the space with those elite receivers. And again, run right at him. Don't run away. He's a 4.49 guy, so he'll chase outside zone away, things like that. You have to do a bunch of different things to affect him. The first thing you got to do is you got to lean on him with those big bodies. If you don't have a plan for this guy is a top 10 pick. This is a game wrecker. So this is a guy who, no matter what your offensive plan is, he will ruin it because he will be in the backfield, both run and pass. So they got to have a big plan for him. Make sure he's doubled, especially on long yardage situations.